My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, have you ever heard of fractional CFOs? Chief Financial Officers. How about for real estate entrepreneurs? How about for syndicators and fund managers? Well, today's special guest, Bastian Kneuse, is doing exactly that. And he is a very active real estate entrepreneur and syndicator himself. He's also a fractional CFO. So Bastian, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
And I think I messed up the pronunciation of the last name after you explained it to me. I apologize for that. So Bastian, tell us a little bit about, let's start with the real estate side of things. Tell us a little bit about, as of the end of 2025, what does your portfolio consist of? What do you invest in these days?
So I did start out probably very traditionally with like single families, duplexes, these type of properties. And I still own those. I still have a portfolio actually in Huntsville in Alabama, of all places. I invested there while I was living in San Francisco. But I kind of shifted there a little bit to larger properties. I've been involved in multifamily syndications on the GP as well as on the LP side. Mm-hmm. And one asset class I really like are smaller multifamilies, like these 15 to 20 units. I have a small portfolio there as well here in the Carolinas. And that's currently my main focus, these smaller multifamilies.
Okay, very good. Kind of that missing segment, that the too big for the little guys, too small for the big guys, that idea?
That's exactly it, you know. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of these properties around. And that's also a reason why I decided to move into the Carolinas, because there's a lot of inventory there.
Very cool. So for these smaller properties, do you syndicate those properties or you work with joint venture partners? How do you raise the capital for those two?
Yeah, so no syndications on those. It's a blend between joint ventures and my own capital. It's really on the size of the property.
Very good. Now, the other thing that you're really focused on is being a fractional CFO. So for some of us that aren't super familiar with what that is, can you maybe explain what that even means?
Yes, absolutely. So fractional CFO, think about CFO of a company, chief financial officers, who is sort of overseeing everything numbers related, from accounting to bookkeeping, but also forward-looking, trajectories, forecasts, pricing, all those fall under the responsibility of the CFO. There are a lot of small companies out there, a lot of real estate firms out there that are in need of these services, but are not large enough to hire a full-time person.
Right.
Those are in the 300 to 400K salary range. So you have to be at a decent size in terms of revenue to be able to afford that. Now, that's where I come in, essentially as in a fractional capacity. I'm working with several clients on helping them navigate the financial forecasting, budgeting. How can we grow the company? How can we grow from X to Y? At the same time, the biggest problem that most of these companies have is, how come my P&L profit says X and my bank account says Y? What happened in between? So those are all questions that I help them answer on a fractional capacity.
So fractional means that you're working part-time with these clients that can't afford a full-time CFO. So you work for a fraction of that time and make it much more affordable for them. Plus, they're probably not at the stage yet where they need full-time help with that anyhow, right? So you're able to get them everything that they need part-time, correct?
That's absolutely correct. So some companies need a little bit more hands-on work. Some are a little bit less. Some are still growing to a phase where they need more work. So I covered the entire bandwidth.
So what would you say, Bastian, is the typical amount of time the real estate companies you're working with need from you, or that you need to work with them hands-on, either on a monthly basis or however you guys work together?
It really depends on where the company is in the growth trajectory. There are smaller companies where I spend 5 hours a week helping them figuring out cash flow management. There are other companies where I spend 20 to 30 hours a month, or even beyond that, on more complex items. I have a client right now, not necessarily on the real estate side, but the client is going through a Series B fundraise round right now. So helping navigate those waters as well. So it covers everything from the smaller companies as well to the larger companies.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. All right. Well, it sounds like it keeps you pretty busy. You don't need very many clients to create a full-time workload for yourself doing it this way. So what's kind of the sweet spot for you for the number of clients that you like to work with at any one time?
So I do build a business that I'm trying to scale. So it's not just a one-man show. I'm building out a team and a company. So per CFO, I would probably guess around 6-7 clients. I think that's where we reach capacity. And so that's currently the threshold.
Okay, cool. So for your business, how many other fractional CFOs are you looking to bring on for your company?
Yeah, so I'm trying to grow rapidly. I've been doing that for since earlier this year, so not too long in the game for it. But I'm out there. I am to bring on 2 new CFOs at this.
Nice.
So it's definitely over the next quarter. By the end of Q1, I would guess I need to have these people on board.
So it sounds like a CFO makes pretty good money in their working full time for someone. Mm-hmm. Are you appealing to those folks who are looking for a little bit more flexibility, or why do people decide to go for making $300,000 or $400,000 a year, to hanging up their own shingle and doing it fractionally?
There could be a multitude of reasons. It could be flexibility. Some people would rather get a little bit less salary but have flexibility, make them schedule. There are other models out there, such as CFOs, former CFOs that are maybe retired. They still want to pick up a few clients, want to in a few hours a week, a month, and just offer their services that way. So there's a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. How about yourself, Bastian? What was your background before you started doing the fractional CFO business?
Yeah, I feel like I'm living my third life right now, because I've done a lot of different things. I actually started out playing professional basketball in Germany. Got my MBA there.
I can't tell it from looking at you on Zoom, but I'm guessing you're a pretty tall dude.
I was the second shortest guy on the team, and I'm 6'3". So then came to the US, got my master's in finance, and then started my finance career. I was in investment banking. I was in New York for some time, worked in Fortune 50 companies, transitioned over to San Francisco. I was there for 7 years, and now here I'm Charlotte for the past 3 years. So worked with very large companies, and that's the experience that I bring to the smaller companies, because it's just not affordable at that level. Yeah,
most definitely. But from your side of things, you must have to clean up a lot of messes with small companies that just really have kind of grown by the seat of their pants and don't really have things set up properly. So I would imagine, what are some of the biggest hurdles that you have to overcome with new clients?
What I often hear is, so far it has worked for us making gut decisions, right? Now we're at a point in the company at the scale where a wrong move could mean the end, So
right.
Owners and operators have to be very diligent on how they are moving and navigating, going forward. And oftentimes it's really like, it starts with very basic stuff like bookkeeping, like you start off in Excel, Excel is good enough, but then all of a sudden it gets more and more volume. And now okay, now we need to switch over to a system. How are we doing that? Do we hire a bookkeeper? Do we have enough money right now to hire a bookkeeper? And from there on, it scales.
Well, yeah, if they don't have enough money for a bookkeeper, I don't think we got enough money for a fractional CFO. Yeah,
that's very true. But they operate that way for another year or 2 or 3, and then they realize, okay, we need to bring somebody in who's really putting structure into this.
Right.
Making sure all the systems that we have are talking to each other, making sure that simple things such as the chart of accounts for the bookkeeping, does that even make sense? I've seen chart of accounts where you have accounts in there like business travel, leisure travel, it's like all over the place. And you need to bring somebody in to clean this up. And that is all the basis of what I'm doing in terms of forward projections. If the basis and the foundation is not correct, it's very hard to predict the future.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Interesting stuff. So circling back to the real estate side of things, Bastian, it sounds like you're very busy with the fractional CFO business. Are you still actively doing syndication deals, looking for properties outside of your own personal portfolio? What does that side of your business look like?
Yeah, so I definitely slowed down a little bit on the syndication side. It's been tough right now. And things are, there are a lot of, a lot of blood on the street. But things are definitely turning around. And, me being in Charlotte, I can definitely see that. All I have to do is look out the window and I see construction everywhere. So real estate is definitely picking up there, and all that excess inventory is slowly cycling through. So rents are going to be stabilizing again here in Charlotte. But that being said, syndication is not necessarily something that I'm kind of pushing for these days. It's really the smaller multifamilies. That's very appealing to me, the scalability of that. And I'm also trying to understand a new concept, co-living. That's something that kind of interests me. There's a big market in Charlotte, big operators moving again, setting this up. So these are all kind of strategies that I'm exploring further right now while I build my fractional CFO business.
Interesting stuff. Bastian, this is fascinating. If people would like to connect with you, whether it's about real estate or fractional CFO stuff, what's the best place for them to go?
Yeah, I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you look me up on LinkedIn, Bastian Kneuse, I'm always active there. All
right. And Kneuse is spelled Kneuse. That's the name, lovely name that I mispronounced at the beginning. Kneuse. So Bastian, thank you very much for being on the show. This has been great.
Thanks so much for having me, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will talk to you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.